Right, let's stop with the politics. Let's have a little bit of business talk. Aaron is here for us, and Aaron, it's not good news for Uber.
Some may say it's great news. Some may say it's great news for Uber. We'll explain why. Hello there, Travis Kalanick. It's the big boss, the chief executive of Uber, the ride-hailing service, has resigned following demands from 5 major investors. Now, last week, he said he was taking indefinite leave of absence after a series of, well, we know, we've been talking about it for a long time, series of scandals hitting the company. I mean, Uber's been battling, allegations of harassment, discrimination and corporate misconduct. Let's get more. Familiar face joins us, Chris Roebuck, visiting professor of transformation and leadership at the Cass Business School. Chris, good to see you. So I'm just wondering, this is an interesting story, isn't it? So, because you and I have been talking about Uber for some time, this leave of absence, does that suggest, and he's not doing that obviously now, he's resigned, does that suggest that some thought he might take a leave of absence, but he'll still have his hand on the company?
Well, this is a classic example of where the person that is the entrepreneur that sets up the organisation is potentially not the best person to move it into the next phase with IPO and growth. Especially then you add on all of these scandals that he's been subjected to. So what's happened is he said he'd quietly disappear and go and have a little holiday, but the investors are saying, hang on, we don't really think he can actually keep his fingers out the pie, and we have to formalise this. The question is, who are they going to get to take the role?
And we'll talk about that in a second, but the other thing is talking about sort of hands-off. He's still going to be sitting on the board of Uber, correct?
Absolutely.
So can't he have an influence as a board member?
Of course he'll have an influence as a board member, but this is always the challenge in these situations. Obviously, if someone set up an organisation, they want to still be involved. And there's very, very few people who will say, actually, hands up, I need to go away, change, improve, and potentially come back. Now, Dorsey did that at Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
But it doesn't look, it's not in his character. It's not in Kalanick's character to do this, so he wants to be in there. The question is, can they find someone who can control him?
And well, that's the point, because didn't they struggle finding a COO, a chief operating officer, because it appeared, so you heard the rumour mill, nobody wanted to go and work underneath Kalanick. So they've got to find a CEO who's prepared to come on and take the reins of Uber and make it profitable. It still hasn't made a profit. But with Kalanick still on the board.
Yeah, they need to find someone who can actually leverage his capability and leverage what he can contribute, but keep him under control and try and change the culture. That's actually going to be more of a challenge than keeping, I think, Kalanick under control on the board. It's to actually say, look, the culture that you previously had achieved what you needed to achieve to get the thing up and running, but if we look at the results it has produced in terms of scandals, previous US Attorney General having to investigate it, we need to change, because in the final analysis, they can get performance to make them profitable by either intimidating people or inspiring people, and the results show quite clearly inspiring people makes more money than intimidating them.
And somewhat brief if we can, but, about a couple of weeks ago they appointed their 3rd top senior executive woman in the company, and that was all within 1 week. Three top women in 1 week. It was seen as maybe this company needs women to come in, clean out the sexual harassment, clean out all the mess. A top woman CEO would be a cracker for Uber, maybe.
Yes, it would be, but we must always remember that the board can be great and the next level down can be great, but changing the culture below that is the real challenge in any organisation, be it Uber, banks or anywhere else.
Okay, we've got to wrap. Who did you mention to me in the green room before we came on air? That would be
Jeff Imlet.
Jeff, from
GE.
There you go. Because he's got a bit of time on his hands now, doesn't he?
He does indeed.
Well, Chris Roebuck, always a pleasure. Hey, there, you can't keep up with me. Sorry about that. Stay with us on BBC World News. Still to come.